Rajni, what's wrong?
Tom, I have a script and I don't know what to do with it. Should I burn it? Feed it to my cat?
You need some writers group therapy.
Hello and welcome to Writers Group Therapy.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Roshni. We're writers helping writers. Ready for your session? The doctors are in. So, outlining.
Yes, do you need an outline? I didn't go to school for screenwriting, so I kind of learned this all by the seat of my pants from websites and some books.
Same here.
And some, workshops and stuff like that. So I didn't really learn from day one about outlining. It kind of came to me from sideways. I had already started writing scripts and then learned, maybe I should be outlining this, to help me, improve my writing, to make sure my structure is fine. I'm very structure focused in my writing, so outlines make sense if you're that kind of way, because, if you're following the traditional screenplay format, outlines, really help you get all your beats in the right order and stuff like that.
Plus, with the stuff you write more action, adventure type stuff. You kind of need to know what's happening.
Right. If you watch a lot of dramas or rom-coms, they're a little more fluid. They kind of flow a little bit more. Action movies, you have to kind of really know your beats, because otherwise you're going to lose your audience and things get chaotic. So
you have 5 car chases and 10 explosions and
Plus, in and around all the action, you don't want to lose your characters and your story. You can I get too plot focused, where I don't give my characters time to react or to feel or to even kind of comprehend their situation. So one of my things is always to make sure that I'm covering all those bases, and you can do that with an outline. Now, I don't always use the same outline. I've got several different tools I use, whatever works best for the story I'm working on. I have a master kind of one-page outline I got from a mentor of mine that's really brief, but it really gives you a good overall focus of what the story is and the different beats. Then I've done longer outlines where I literally write out a couple sentences for each scene. And then I've done times when I've done visual outlines, literally flow charts, showing each character and where they are in the script compared to the other ones, especially the action ones where people are running off in different directions and you have to kind of coordinate when they're going to meet up or what one person does and how that affects another person somewhere else in the story.
Yeah, if you've got an A story, a B story, and a C story, you can't have those ends flapping all over the place because it won't make sense.
Right, and you don't want to go too long on A story and forget about your B story, because then you'll come back to it and people will be like, oh, what? Oh, where'd that go? Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, who was that guy? Why is he important? Why do we care? So
keeping that intertwined nature of the stories alive and keeps things moving, keeps things flowing nicely. So
what other things do you do then? Are you a note card person? Or
not,
do you do it
no.
one sheet?
I think I've told you before my horror nightmares about doing term papers. Yeah, so I'm not a big note card person. I've used the note cards before in Final Draft, but I kind of let that aside.
I find the online note cards really hard, and I think it's because I'm a visual learner, so I would have to have them written out and spread out on a mirror or on a wall or something.
Kind of thing.
To see it digitally, it just doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah. The one-page template I got from one of my mentors, she's a screenwriting coach, Barry Evans, fantastic coach. Yeah, her one-page Uber outline, she calls it, and there's a 2-page version, is really good for when you've got an idea and you want to kind of just get the idea down to see if you've got a good story before you start breaking it out further. It's a really good template to use. I learned mainly from Sid Fields. I think I did a DVD course, the Sid Fields 3-act structure.
Oh, cool.
So I use that method as well. Your inciting incident, your plot points, your twists, and what have you. So those seem to be enough for me.
Yeah, this is a weak point of mine. I'm not a really big outliner. I'm trying to be better about it, especially now that I'm working on scripts where I have heavy research, because if I don't know enough about that world, then without an outline, I'm just going to flounder. But it doesn't usually work for how I create. For me, I usually have like a loose story idea, like, okay, these are the characters, this is what's happening, here's the beginning, here's the end, how do I get them there? But I have run into problems doing that. A lot of rewrites and polishing after the first draft, so I don't know if an outline might help me tighten that up a little bit.
Well, neither of us went through like screenwriting classes in school. None of us, I mean, I was a music major and a marketing, journalism and marketing, so I was not a creative writing, student. So I only started writing, 2007.
But sometimes also not knowing those rules helps you be more creative. I mean, I'm not saying that screenwriting classes are bad. I've never been in one, and I actually kind of want to take one in the future to help hone my craft. But I think if you get too married to a format, like I know writers who are like, oh my gosh, it has to be Save the Cat format or nothing else. And it's like, it's okay if you deviate. You don't have to have inciting incident on page 18 or whatever, like you're not going to die.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really good at following structure, and my action, most of my action, horror, sci-fi stuff really play well to a structure like that. So in that case, I work well under that structure, and it kind of happens naturally, once I understood the structure.
And like we said before, certain genres, action, adventure, mysteries, thrillers, where you have a whoddunit, you have to know what's going on.
At the same time, that limits you. You don't have the creativity to come up with a Memento, or I'm trying to think of another movie that uses it on Eternal. What's a spot?
Oh, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
That's the one, yeah. That have really, different structures where, but they create such a great, unique experience. So I want to do both. I want to create great, unique experiences, but I like the structure, so I have to kind of learn to work both of that. So once you learn the structure and you're good at that, then you can start to expand and play with different things.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And I mean, also, I studied at Groundlings. They're big into character development when you create a scene. So I also tend to work that way. These are my characters. This is what's happening to them. How do they feel? How do they react? Which helps me developing characters, but plot is not always my strong point. So I think for me, outlining would definitely be a good thing to start figuring out how to do.
I mean, any kind of writing, outlining can help. We have people in our writers group who are working on novels. So, I mean, that's a huge undertaking. So, and you're doing, 25, 30, 40 chapters. You really do need an outline for that kind of structure. So,
and from a practical standpoint, you kind of want an outline because if you are trying to sell your script, you can usually give them the outline and a synopsis versus...
It's very common for people to ask for an outline or a beat sheet, which is kind of a briefer outline. So I've gone back and created them after I've written the script, though, and then in doing so, sometimes that's a good exercise to see, did I do a good job writing it if I didn't use an outline to write it? So then, it's kind of like deconstructing what you've already created.
Yeah.
And then if it makes sense in the outline and it matches up to what you've written, then you're
like, yay, it's a win.
It works, yeah.
It's a win.
If you do that and you're like, wait, what? How did I get from here to here? And what? This doesn't make any sense because there was nothing, before it that led to that. So
how about for you guys? Are you pro outline, or do you think it hampers your creativity? Tweet it at us at WG Therapy, and check us out online at writersgrouptherapy.com. We'll also have show notes there as well. And if you like what you hear, subscribe and share it with your friends. We'll see you next week.